In this video today, I would like to talk about how to hire and source caregivers for your home care agency properly and effectively and efficiently. My name is Scott McKenzie, and I am the founder of Golden Age Companions, a non-medical home care agency based in Irvine, California. We have been in business since 2011 and have generated over $8 million of revenue in total. And I also have founded a company called Home Care Agency Blueprint, and that is a business designed to help you start and scale your very own home care agency. All right, so let's just jump in here. In regards to hiring caregivers for your home care business, it's super important to remember that these caregivers, they're the staple of your company. They are the backbone of your business. Now, generally the way that it's structured with the home care business is there's a few people in the office. So you have a case manager, a care coordinator, maybe a staffing coordinator, administrator, even maybe somebody in HR. If you're just starting out, it may just be you wearing all the hats, and then you have a staffing coordinator and somebody to go do the in-home assessments on your behalf. And then of course there's HR, which if you're wearing that hat, you might be the person hiring the caregivers as well. So something to think about when placing caregivers in the homes of seniors, you really want to make sure that, number one, when you're recruiting these caregivers, that you're asking a lot of questions, you're collecting, resumes, paperwork on them, seeing what their credentials are, finding out what their previous experience is. I will do a total separate video that's more in depth on what it looks like to hire a caregiver, like key tips and things to ask. But the gist of it is you want to be sure to ask a bunch of questions and make sure that this person's qualified to work with, say, whatever it is, your patient with disabilities or seniors. And then the other thing is reference checks. Oftentimes, I don't think it's people do enough reference checks on their staff. It's important to call at least 3 references. So make sure to get reference checks from your potential caregiver that you're hiring and find out what their experience was as far as working with that client, and then also call the reference check to find out what the experience was from that client working with the caregiver, so you're not hearing a double-sided story. So, that's just some way of really finding how truthful it is of the story that you have been provided by your potential candidate that's looking to work for your agency. Background checks, I won't go into that in this video. That's a given. Of course, background checks according to your state, there's going to be certain requirements that you've got to cross. With my team at Home Care Agency Blueprint, we do that on your behalf. We would research your state and find out exactly what you need to know and what needs to be in the employee file of your caregiver to make sure that you're in total compliance. And so if you haven't already, also like and subscribe to this video if you're finding it valuable. I would appreciate that. So the other thing is placing caregivers in the homes of seniors. You really want to identify, there's a couple different things. There's the personality of the caregiver, there's their background, what experience they have, and then, their availability. So when you're looking at bringing in a caregiver in the home, the first thing is, given that they have background done and, maybe they've worked with seniors with dementia and whatnot, say you're looking at placing that caregiver with a dementia client, that's one thing, but if they're not available for the case, that's a whole nother. So the thing I like to do is interview multiple candidates, find out their availabilities. Say I'll interview 8 to 10 of them. I'll get what their availability is first, the location that they're living in. So they got to be living in the vicinity, close enough to want to drive to your client's home. And as long as they're within the average is like 20-minute drive. Most likely they'll go to the client's house. If it's more than like a 35-40-minute drive, that caregiver probably won't take that case. So it's availability, the fact they have the experience to work with that client, the fact that they live close to the client. Those are just things to consider when placing a caregiver in the home with a senior or someone with disabilities that needs the care. So, and then it's personality matching. It's once when that caregiver's identified and you have them ready to go, to bring them over to the home and have them introduced to the family to be sure that that is a candidate that the family wants. If they feel good and there's a good personality fit. I think in the home care realm, there's a lot of emphasis on, does the family like the caregiver? Does the family like the caregiver? And yes, that's important. But what people tend to forget is, does the caregiver like to work with the family? So you got to make sure that there's a mutual compatibility with the family and the caregiver, not just one-sided thing. Because, sure, if a caregiver is desperate to have work and they're just saying okay to the case, and the family's like, well, yeah, they seem like they're a good fit, they seem nice. Well, guess what? In a week and a half or 2 weeks, all of a sudden you might get a call out, 2 call outs, 3 call outs, and all of a sudden or they just don't even show up. And so you want to make sure that your caregiver is happy with working with the family, and of course the family's happy with the caregiver. That's how you're going to get the longevity of sustaining a case and having a long-term client that is fairly easy to manage and maintain. And the more of these, as I said in one of my videos on my channel here, is the better you integrate a caregiver with a family and coordinate that scheduling and make sure that it's a good fit, and you put up that work up front, the better you create a great hire and have a client that loves their caregiver. The better you do that process and manage it, the better that you're gonna you're just gonna have a long-term stable client and less mess, less drama. And so that's just super beneficial to do that. So yeah, I just want to do something quick on caregiver hiring today, and some tips and tricks and things that I have experienced and over my decade of experience in doing this. And thank you for coming to this video. And if you haven't already, please like or subscribe to this video. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one.